Hello. Today what I would like to do is show you a feature that they have added into NDS some time ago. The comparison feature has always been there, but they've added a new little graphic capability in the comparison so that what we can do is we can actually graphically look at two different diets being compared, or the way that I found it very useful for this is to look at how is my transition of nutrients going on in any one herd. So what I'd like to do today is show you that function in the comparison and the graphic evaluation of nutrients across a bunch of diets on a farm. So what I want to do today is to go ahead and bring up a herd, and I'm going to go to far off dry cows and pick up these far off dry cows. And as it loads, question has been is a lot of times is what's the NEL in this diet? And again, we don't talk about NELs in a lot of other diets, but we still talk about it in the dry cow. And so what I'd like to do is look at how we transition nutrients, being starch, protein, NDF, even degradable starch across diets. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up a diet. I have made no changes in the diet. So when I go to the comparison function, the program actually looks and says, here is your saved diet, but you don't have anything to compare this diet to, which is exactly what I want. So now I know that this saved diet is my dry cow diet. I can go back to the recipe tab right here up in the upper left-hand corner. I can go to recipes. Now I can go to that same farm, and what I want to do is go get my latest close-up diet. So I will hit that, and now it is loading the close-up diet. And so I am able to look at saved being the dry cow diet. Version 2 will be my close-up diet. And sometimes the computer may have a little trouble doing the accounting. I look like I'm using two different corn silages here, and it will list all those ingredients here. As you can see, dry cow, close-up. So let me go back again to the recipes for this farm. If I stay within that farm, now I'm going to go find the fresh cow diet. Here is my fresh cow diet for that farm. It is loading, and now I will have saved version 1, version 2, which will basically be dry, close-up, fresh. Now the system is showing version 2 and version 3, but let's not stop here. Let me keep going to the recipe tab again, going to the upper left blue bar, clicking here, and let's go find the high cow diet for this farm. Here's one of the high cow diets, and now it's busy loading that. Again, if it's loading the composites or the mixes here, we're going to get a different account, and our ingredient list will be rather large. But now we're showing version 3, version 4, and again, this is fresh cow, high cow. And what I can do from here is go to the Show All tab, which allows me to look at all those diets within one screen. And so now here I am, 1, 2, 3, 4. I could change the titles here, but what I would like to do is just look, and I can look at any ingredients through here and see a change. But my main goal is to see how am I changing or transitioning nutrients. So as I go down to the analysis down here, here's the analysis of all these recipes. You can see I've listed, again, dry cow, close-up, fresh, and high cow. So let's just look at maybe crude protein, and then let's look at the true protein percent, which is crude minus ammonia. And let me just look and click these two buttons that are to the immediate left of that analyte. If I go up here and I can click on show graph or trends, this will give me a nice graph, again, of dry, close-up, fresh, and high. And you can see the protein change in those 4 diets as I transition from dry cows to high cows. Again, not in a very exciting graph, but let's go back and look at a couple other things. What are we doing on NDF for those graphs, for those diets? So a nice, good transition through NDF. So now talking about transition of starch. So maybe I'll look at what my starch feeding is. I'm at 11, 18, 22, and 24. But again, talking with some of the folks at Minor, maybe another bigger number I should be looking at instead of just total starch is maybe what I need is starch degraded as a percent, where am I? Percent of, here we go, percent of dry matter here. And so now I'm going to look at starch and the degraded starch as a percent of dry matter. And let me look at those graphs. And so here is a good idea to see graphically how we are transitioning our animals on different nutrient levels in our rations. And so I've used this function to troubleshoot an awful lot of transition cow issues on a farm. Again, you can look at anything through here. We could look at allowable milk, but of course our dry cows and close-up cows would not have any allowable milk. We can look at the CNCPS values down here, looking at, say we wanted to look at any protein MP, metabolizable protein here is a percent of dry matter intake. You could look at any of those functions through down here, which is the CNCPS area down below here. So again, this would be just your area up above here. So you have your ingredient area, the analysis of that diet, and then the CNCPS area down here, which is the outputs from CNCPS, and that's where we looked at the starch degraded as a percent of dry matter intake from here. We could look at amino acids across any of these diets if we so desired to look at lysine and methionine and look at our graphs. Oops, I still have the starch up here listed and probably still have that starch listed here. Now I can just look at those amino acids for, again, dry cow, close-up cow, fresh cow, high cow. And again, that's what, looking at this comparison function and then going to show graph, choosing what I want to look at, and then being able to graph that has been a huge asset as I look at comparing recipes across an entire farm and seeing how our transition is. Really what I wanted to just show you was the old comparison function that many people have used within a diet, within a lactation diet, but now you can use that for, you know, a comparison across a farm. Again, we've added some other features we'll go over. There's a recent farm tab here and recent items that hopefully many of you are using. But for today, I just wanted to show you how to use that graphic in the comparison tab to look at your transition across a farm. So hope that's helpful, and we'll be doing more of these. So stay informed, and we'll post them on Facebook, and we'll get this stuff out to you that way. Thanks a lot.